I'm going to show you how to set everything up so that you can build Android apps on your Mac. Now, in order to do this, we need something called Android Studio. In a nutshell, Quasar generates the code for Android Studio. Android Studio builds it and does all the stuff that needs to be done to get it working on an Android phone. And it's also responsible for then sending that app to your phone so that you can then start using it and developing. All right, let's get started. We're going to go to developer.android.com. Scrolling down just a little bit, we can click on Download Android Studio. Download Android Studio Koala. And I love that it's called Koala because I'm from Australia, so I'm feeling a little bit of a kinship to that animal. Okay, I've read and agreed with the above terms. Now you can choose Mac with an Apple chip, or in my case, I've got a Mac with an Intel chip because it's a little bit older. Haven't got what the cool kids have these days. Now that's going to download. I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to click on Cancel and then open that file. So here it is. Double click on that, drag Android Studio to our Applications folder, and then when that's done, double click. Do not import settings. I don't have any config files, and then we'll click on OK. I'd rather click Don't Send here, and we can go through the setup wizard. Next, you can click on Custom to have a look at what's being installed if you like. So if we go next here, that just kind of gives you an idea of what's being installed. And I'm going to uncheck Android Virtual Device. Now, this can be a good idea if you don't have your own Android phone. This basically means that you can run an Android phone on your Mac. There are a lot of disadvantages with that, especially some hardware that you're not going to have access to. So I much prefer to develop on a real phone. And for that reason, I'm not even going to install the virtual device and save the 1.6 gigs. Okay, next. Do some super fast ninja reading. Yeah. Accept, and then press finish. Now this step can take a little while. It's just going to download the extra bits and pieces based on our setup. That's done installing, so let's go ahead and press finish. And Android Studio is now set up and ready to go. Okay, what's next? Opening up our project, Quasar Playground. Let's make this full screen. And I'm going to write the command to run this in Capacitor mode for Android, but we're not going to run it straight away. I'll tell you why in a moment. So Quasar, I want to develop an app. Can you please set the mode equal to Capacitor? And using Capacitor, we're going to target a build for Android. Now this is a little bit much to type. So let's select all of that, right click and then go copy, and then turn this into a command within our package.json so we can easily run this script. I'm thinking something like yarn dev : Android. So how about we make it so that that command runs development in Android mode? All right, I'll make a bit more space here, jump into our package.json, and then we'll create a new line in the script section here underneath dev, and we'll call it dev : Android. Now I can paste what I copied before, and now when we run yarn dev Android, it's going to run this command for us. And by the way, this is going to work even if Quasar isn't installed globally. So that's good to know. We actually get the Quasar CLI installed. That's what's happening here. Quasar AppVite includes the Quasar CLI, which means we can easily run Quasar within our scripts. So saving that, yarn dev Android. By the way, if you're using npm here, you'll have to say npm run dev Android. Okay, but we're using yarn dev Android, and let's see what happens. Okay, so Quasar goes ahead and gets some things installed and set up for us. A couple of things that we'll have to okay, open and open. Yes, we do trust this folder, and now I'll select trust project. All right, so let's make this bigger. And next we're going to have to wait until some of these operations down here have finished. Now, in order to start developing, we have to basically say to our phone, it's okay for Android Studio to launch an app on you. This is a security thing. So we need to jump into Chrome and find the instructions for that. And if we go to developer.android.com/studio/debug/dev-options, let's go to that website. It's going to show you how to enable developer options on your phone. Now, if this link is dead by the time you're watching this should be something that you're able to Google. So perhaps something like Android Studio configure on-device developer options should get you there. So scrolling down a little bit, you'll be able to follow these instructions. It's going to be slightly different depending on your Android phone. And you'll also want to make sure that you go through this section as well. Enable USB debugging on your device. This is necessary to allow Android Studio to install the app that we're developing on your phone. All right, so make sure all of that's done. I'm going to close out of this now. Oh, and notice this update here, project update recommended. You do not want to update Android Gradle. This is important because it's possible that Quasar won't work if one of these upgrades occurs. So if you don't use Android Studio for anything else, I recommend selecting More, Don't Show Again. Now we're ready to run our app. Make sure your phone is selected from this drop-down menu, and then select this play button. A couple more things are going to happen down here. These processes get a lot faster the second time around. So once we've launched the app once, it's going to launch much faster the second time. There we go. It's now launching on my device. This app already existed on my phone, which is why I'm getting this error. So I can press OK, and that's going to be fine. And that's it. It's now showing up on the phone on my desk here. And check this out. This is the cool part. Now we can go into Chrome, jump into Chrome, inspect devices, and then select inspect for our app here, Quasar Playground. Inspect, and there we go. We have all of the Chrome dev tools that we're used to, console logging. We've also got working with the network tab, the performance tab, looking at elements, all of the cool web dev stuff that we're used to. But this is running as a mobile app on our phone, which means we can access things like the Bluetooth API. We can get an accurate GPS location. We can access the camera. We now have command over the hardware because this is running as a Capacitor app. Really, really cool stuff. Now to finish up, let's go through the process of getting into development mode again, since a lot has happened in this video. So we'll close this out. We'll close everything out and just come back to VS Code. I clicked on stop there to stop the app. Close out Android Studio. And let's just imagine we've just opened Visual Studio Code. This is what we would do to start developing on our Android app. Yarn dev Android. Android Studio automatically opens up for us. We make sure our device is selected and then select Run App. The app's now running on my phone, so I would then open Google Chrome and then type in Chrome, and I get auto completion here for inspect. Click on inspect so that we can view our app, and we're good to go. If I'm in designing mode, I might make this a little bit smaller. Let's jump into VS Code and take it out of full screen and put these two side by side. Something like that. And then in this case, we would jump into our index page, Command P, index page, and we can start developing. So let's change that color to blue and notice that it updates immediately. This is so, so cool. I can't tell you how hard this stuff has been for me in the past without Quasar. And everything happens in real time here. So take a look at what happens when I click on the menu button on my phone. It shows up in the app. And when I click out of it here in the app, that actually hides it on my phone as well. And then when you're done and you want to get a feel for what it looks like on your phone, you can just pick up your phone and then start playing around with it on the device itself. So especially if you want to check that all the touch operations work as you would expect them to, it's good to be able to sort of switch back and forth between the two. So I hope you enjoyed this one and you were able to get Android Studio up and running. have a play around, and I'll see you in the next video.